All right, let's get this live stream going on. Let's make sure that it's working well. Let's get this live stream started. As we see people starting to trickle in, I'm so excited to see and talk and chat with all of you. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good live stream. I'm excited. Can everyone say hello in the chat? Nice to see everyone. Wow. Welcome to a new live stream, the last one for November. I'm so happy that all of you have joined me. Good evening, Gigi. Let me know where you're all from. If you want to know let me know the city, the state. I will shout out people in the chat, in the comments. Feel free to leave a chat. Feel free to give the video a big thumbs up, a big like. It's free, and it does help out the channel to stay afloat so I can keep doing what I'm doing. Jeremy, Mr. Dwayne, Brian Cruz, Barry is saying hello. Jennifer and Cassandra, Mike. Where are you saying hello from? Let me know. That's always great. It's always great to see how far we're at, to let you know where I'm from. I'm from Los Angeles, California, the west coast of the United States. And we have our first person tuning in, Julie R. from Webb City. Is that Missouri? Oh, MO is Missouri, I believe. Reno, Nevada. Look at that, Rich. Virginia Beach from Cassandra. That is awesome. Let's see. We have people from Nevada. We have people from the East Coast already. Dallas, Texas. I was in Texas not long ago. Born in the USA. Checking in from LA. Gigi, very close by. Baltimore, Maryland. Brian. Asheville. Stewart. Asheville. What? I was gonna say what country? What the state? See, I'm already having brain farts up here. Edit John, thank you. Hopefully all of you had a great Thanksgiving. Victorville, California. Christopher Kraft. Las Vegas. You live in Las Vegas? From LA. I'd love to go to Las Vegas very soon. Jennifer from Illinois. From Canada, LC. Nice to see you, our first international viewer. Greetings from Tennessee. It's the last live stream of November. We will probably have one next month. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Fort Worth, Texas, Jeremy Short. Toledo, Ohio. Nice to see you, John. Christina, nice spelling of your name. Oh, I am not going to try your last name. You have a very unique, beautiful last name. Oh, wait, no. Christina, one Polish chick. I saw it as like TP something, and I thought it was, that is awesome. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Karen in Evansville, Indiana. Baker's Patch, California. Is it still hot in Bakersfield? Asheville, North Carolina. Asking for Everett, Washington. Well, it'll be the last live stream of November, that's for sure. That's what it says. Last live stream of November. From Kissimmee, John Harris. Is that Kissimmee, Florida? Kissimmee, Florida. I would love to go to Florida soon. I may. You may hear a little announcement that I may be going to Florida to visit maybe the new year, meaning 2023. Pisic. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the grammatical pronunciation, because I would not have said your town correctly. New Jersey, Scott. Oh, that's your last name. It's Pisic. Great to see you, Scott. Awesome. Hi from California. Cambridge, Massachusetts. Hi, Mama S. Great wave. How's everyone doing? How was your Thanksgiving? Have you been checking out the videos lately? What shows have you been watching? Oh, by the way, I have to show off my Gilligan's shirt. Wait, I keep getting at it. There we go. I love this shirt. This is one of my favorite shirts, right? And what I love is that Gilligan's shirt was red, so it continues with the red, right? And it fills out the whole shirt. Like, if that isn't the coolest design for a Gilligan shirt, I don't know what is. Isn't that great? Have any of you seen it before? Meaning, okay, maybe you've seen me wear it, but have you seen it around? I don't know. I think I probably own the only one, or bought the only one. Thank you, Jennifer. How is everyone doing today? Wow. I feel like it's been so long since I made this live stream. We're going to talk about a few things. I'm opening up my little information desk over here, and just want to talk about a few things because we're getting the last month. We're getting December. I'm getting prepared to have a little Halloween special. Halloween. Look at this. I'm still stuck in October. No, a Christmas special. Christmas is coming. So excited to do that. Now, if you remember last year, I had my first Christmas special, and I had a little scene that I made, like a little miniature. You're going to see something very similar, but also very different. I'm already going to start filming that scene so that I can make the second Christmas special. Isn't that crazy? The second Christmas special with videos focusing on Christmas episodes and wishing everyone a Merry Christmas, all that good stuff, embracing the holiday season. There are shows that I'm going to cover that I haven't covered. There are movies that I've never covered that I'm going to cover, so I'm so excited. GD is watching Andy Griffith. Now, have you ever seen the Andy Griffith before? You said the last couple years, so this is something that you're obviously getting into more recently. So that is awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. I love the shirt too. What'd you guys enjoy and eat for Thanksgiving? I could be Gilligan. I'm kind of goofy. If you haven't seen my Instagram, some of my goofiness comes out there. I like to be silly and fun. I'm posting a lot more on my community page on YouTube. So not only do you get videos, you'll get posts, you'll get shorts. Shorts are small videos that are kind of like commercials. Have any of you been watching those shorts? So I'm going to be adding more shorts. They're a way for me to spend less than a minute, usually 15 to 40 seconds, to give you a little trivia tidbit, let you know that a video is out, be like, hey, I just dropped a video, go check it out, like I did that today. I gave a couple of fun facts in a short before on I Love Lucy and so forth. And so, yeah, it's super good. It's super good. Okay, let me see here. Christopher Kraft says, last year's Christmas special was great. I appreciate that, Christopher. And I want to repeat the greatness of it, but with new material, new videos, new content. And I'm already thinking about shows and movies. Now, I have some shows that I'm definitely going to cover. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to give away or show my cards. But I definitely have some movies that I've never talked about, never uttered before, never watched, that I'm going to really analyze and talk about. So, Spike Landman, hello, my friend Rick. I love your hard work. Well, thank you. John says, Little Abner. Oh, Little Abner, that is awesome. Any questions, feel free to ask me about my channel, about what's coming up. I'm trying to fill all you guys in as we're talking. Saying hello to everyone is always super important. Yeah, so old TV shows and movies. It's strange that the Three Stooges never had a Christmas, despite Moe, Larry, Curly, and Shemp are Jewish. Well, that's why. That's why they really didn't have a Christmas episode. They were Jewish. Why would they, right? And so they did have a Christmas-y episode where they dressed up, right, as Santa Claus, Malice in the Palace. Then there's another one that has footage from Malice in the Palace, and then they have a fake Shemp in it. What was his name? Oh, Joe. It was a Joe. I can't remember his name right now. Fake Shemp. I made a video on that, actually. It wasn't Jake LaMotta. I went to a museum recently, and they had items from Raging Bull, the movie. And so what's his name? I can't believe it. You will all probably tell me his name. I made my own little tribute to Robert Clary in the video, and it was really touching to be able to see Robert Clary's niece comment on it. If you take a look at that video of mine, it's a top comment, and I pinned it, I believe. And she said how, she talked a little bit about her uncle, and she was really happy that I made the video, and so that was really touching. Really, really great to see. No, it wasn't Joe Besser. So, so Joe Besser later took over for the last, 16 or so episodes of the Stooges. But there was a fake Shemp for about 5 episodes when he unexpectedly passed away. They had to do a few episodes without Shemp, right? Without Samuel Howard. And so what they did was they contracted Joe. Oh man, It's not Joe Palma. There we go. Okay, Joe Palma. I made a video on Joe Palma. Joe Palma, I'll show you a quick picture of him. I'll show you here. This is Joe Palma. If you don't know, he was known as the fake Shemp. What does that even mean? Now, you can Google it. I made a video detailing all the information on this. But remember, when Shemp not mysteriously, but unexpectedly passed away, they made about 4 videos with reused footage, and then they shot some new footage with just Mo and Larry. And in the shot where they needed Shemp, they had Joe Palma in there. And they would show him from the back, and he would imitate Shemp until they got Joe Besser. So it's really interesting to know that type of stuff. I love it. Santa Claus conquers the Martians. Hello from New Hampshire, Silas Marnar or Marner. I can't tell. Marner, is that correct? And I'm drinking out of my Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers glass to just a little bit of respect for Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger who passed away recently. Very, very sad loss there. Yeah, Joe Palma, awesome. You got it. You guys got it. Shemp is the funniest name. Now, I'm sure some of you know where the name Shemp came from, right? So his name was really Samuel, but remember his mother was Jewish, mostly spoke, right, a lot of Yiddish, and so she would speak when she would say like this, and so she would say Shem as Sam, short for Samuel, and it would sound like Shem, like Shemp, right? Shem, right? And so that became Shemp. It became his nickname, and yeah, it's kind of like a nickname, and I love it. Yeah, Robert Clary's autobiography. I actually have it. I haven't read it cover to cover, but I have read a lot of snippets of it, and he does have a very interesting life. And it's really interesting to be able to learn from him because, all the things he went through, all the difficulties that he encountered, going to concentration camps and things like that, that's very important. And something I always like to do in the channel is that a lot of what I cover is, of course, classic TV shows and movies. But what I think is more important is to cover the actors, but to cover the history that goes along with them, right? To think you're watching a show like Hogan's Heroes and you're not thinking about it too much, you're just laughing because it's silly, they're making fun of the Germans, just all the Gestapo and all that stuff. But then you think that 90% of these men who are acting in this are Jewish. Including Robert Clary, right? And the fact that he was in a concentration camp, not a prisoner of war camp, and that you can enjoy the show. It's crazy. It almost makes it feel like there's more victory in that because the fact that he was alive and he was able to use comedy to kind of defeat his enemy in that way. That's what a lot of people who don't watch Hogan's Heroes have a problem with. They're like, how could people watch a show with the atrocities that happened? Well, you have to note that this is a one-up of the atrocities because it's noting the heroes, the real-life heroes. It's portraying these heroes that were in prisoner of war camps that still tried to escape and to do good things for their country and to try to sabotage. And it is a defeating of the enemy in another way, if that makes sense. So it's also great. Yeah, it's a great revenge story. Now, you can't really say, I know what you mean, Stuart, all of Hogan's Heroes guys are Jewish. We have Ivan Dixon there, but so you can't really say that. But not all of them, but a good amount of them. I would say over 90%. Yeah. Yeah, Shemp, I don't know the number offhand that Shemp made. I'm not even going to look it up because it would be a little too complicated. I don't want to just be staring at my screen looking numbers up for you guys. But it was a lot. He made shorts from, if you just, sorry about that. Let me see. He made shorts from 48 to, what, he passed away in 55? Yeah, Shemp made a lot of shorts. He passed away in 55. So he pretty much made shorts up to the day that he passed away, meaning he was still acting, he was still doing his shorts, and then he had an unexpected heart attack, and they had to take over. Remember, when the Stooges made their contract, they made it for, I believe, a certain amount of years, and they got paid the same for the first short than they did for the last short. And they had 24 years, I believe, and they had 190 shorts that they needed to complete. Now, when Shemp was there and he passed away, they still had pretty much, they had about 20 to go. And they made 4 with the fake Shemp, Joe Palma. They call him fake Shemp because he's portraying Shemp, even though it's not him, and so that's the term they give him. And then they were able to get Joe Besser to finish the last 13 or 16 or 13 or so. And yeah, that finished out the 190. So it's a crazy story. John Lancaster. So these are great questions. You were curious about the relationship the Stooges had together. Well, basically brothers, right? We have Mo Howard being the brother of Curly Howard, Jerry Howard. That's his real name, Jerome. And then we have Samuel Howard. Their real last name was Horowitz, and they changed it to Howard. And so they were blood brothers. Now, Larry Fine was a good friend who got started with them back in the days of Ted Healy and back in the day when Shemp was the original Stooge on a stage on Broadway, not on Broadway, on vaudeville, the vaudeville stage. Then Shemp had some movie commitments, some picture commitments, and so they had to use Curly to replace Shemp to start the Columbia short. So a lot of people don't know that we started out with Curly in the first short, but Shemp was one of the original Stooges. And after Curly was debilitated with his health issues, we had Shemp in the Columbia shorts, fake Shemp, and then we had Joe Besser. Yep. Ricky N coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Ricky, for being really awesome, really supportive of the channel, and for just being great overall. I mean, being able to, you're also on Patreon. If you guys want thumbnails, early release thumbnails, once a month podcasts, if you want to have your name mentioned in my videos or just, mentioned in the credits, don't forget to check out Patreon. Links are in the description. There's also links to playlists, meaning I group all my videos into playlists so that you can watch things on I Love Lucy, one playlist, Emergency, Hogan's Heroes, Gilligan's Island, Three Stooges, and so forth. So that is really, really cool. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, Chad. So if you're Chad Baxter, if you're a fan of Bill Frawley, he was also in Abbott and Costello. I'm sure maybe you know. Meet the Invisible Man, which is great. That's a great movie. I want to cover that one time for Halloween. That is such a great movie. Vincent Price does a quick voice cameo, I guess you can say. Bill Frawley plays a detective, a cop. It's great. Yeah, Jennifer White Wolf, the Stooges were treated not great. They were treated not great at all. Mo was the de facto manager / agent that they had. But remember, these guys weren't really... See, everyone has their strengths, right, and talents. Desi Arnaz was amazing at business, and he was a very good actor, in my opinion. Some people would not agree, and some people don't even like his singing. I understand. I like all of what he did. I thought Desi Arnaz, and still think that he was a super genius. Lucille Ball was not that great at running business, as great as her husband. And so we go here. The Stooges were great actors, but they weren't necessarily the best when it came to managing and making deals and contracts. And so they were abused in the sense that, you know, they were taken advantage of, unfortunately, what they could have made and so forth. Yeah. Oh my goodness, 900 miles from normal says, I'm a telephone operator at a hospital. I'll make the overhead announcement. Sometimes I want to get overheard. I want to get on the overhead and say, paging Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard. Can't you do it one day like at 2 a.m. when everyone's asleep, but do it like really quietly so you don't wake anyone up? Calling Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard. I think that'd be great. Jennifer Blakey, great question. What's your favorite I Love Lucy episode and why? It's a great question because I've had different answers, and I think as I've grown and I've watched the episodes more and over, my tastes have changed. Kind of like your tastes in food change. I hated Brussels sprouts, and now I love Brussels sprouts. Go figure. But right now, I've always said it's home movies. Home movies. So it's the one with the old cow hand, and Fred says, I got wind of it, right, with the videos played backwards. I think it's great. But it's kind of evolving, and again, this is me. I'm not influenced. This is just what I have thought. I almost feel like now it's going into LA at last. Like it's changing to that. Like that is becoming my number one. I don't know why, but I'm also getting really fond of season one. Now, the reason I like home movies, I think it's hilarious from the beginning to the end. There's no downtime in it. And LA at last, I mean, come on. The excitement of arriving in Hollywood, and then right there, they're trying to see all these stars. And then William Holden pops in at the Brown Derby, spill the whole... Not only do they throw the pie, does Lucy accidentally trip the waiter and throw the pie at Bill Holden, but then Lucy has the putty nose, right? The putty nose, and that scene is great. So it has like two big clinchers, but then the joy of like getting to Hollywood and the Brown Derby. It's almost like nonstop fun, and that's what I love about I Love Lucy. So, yeah. 900 Miles said, you won't do that. Only if you want to look for a new job. Okay, yes. Please don't listen to my advice. I have horrible advice. I don't want to get anyone fired. The Monkeys. Michael Rochester asks, will you ever do a detailed analysis of episodes of The Monkeys? I've heard of it, honestly, but I don't know what that's about. Yeah. I don't know what that's about. You are most welcome. Mark H says, thanks for all the content, Rick. I say you are absolutely welcome, Mark. I want to know how many of you are fans of Hitchcock, because I definitely have. I just made a video on Hitchcock and the movie North by Northwest, if you are a fan of that. I made a couple others. I made one on Rope, if you're a fan of Rope. I made a video on, Rope. Oh, Rear Window. I love Rear Window. Those are my top favorite Hitchcock movies. North by Northwest. Now, I haven't seen all of his movies. North by Northwest, Rope, and then the last one that I said. Rear Window. I love those three. I want to watch more. I kind of bought a collection of 15 of the movies like Marnie and Torn Curtain, and so many other of the episodes, or so many other of the movies, and I haven't seen, and so I want to see if I like them. Birds, I think it's good, but to me it was a bit overrated. Like, I was like, okay, that's cool, but I didn't like it as much as the others. Psycho, of course, is great, but I feel I might need to have to cover that and talk about it a little bit. I think it's interesting to maybe be able to get into it a little more and a little more in depth. I mean, the fact it's just so iconic and everyone talks about it, so I may want to get into that. I have never seen Shadow of a Doubt. See, I'm a little behind in my Hitchcock viewing, so I haven't even seen the Hitchcock, what is it, Hitchcock Hour Presents? No, it's Hitchcock Hour, right? And then the other one is Alfred Hitchcock Presents. I have like the season 1 of Hitchcock Presents, and I haven't seen it, so I'm a little behind, but there's so much to do, right? I mean, Mary M says, I love the videos that you did of Laurel and Hardy movie locations. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I have more in mind. I just haven't gotten to film them yet. I have so many things that I'm doing and so many projects spanning different shows and stuff. But I'll get to as many as possible. Don't worry. I still have other stuff. Now, Vertigo, I haven't seen. I also haven't seen Shadow of a Doubt. The Man Who Knew Too Much. See, I've only seen about 4 or 5 Hitchcock movies. That's it. But I love what I've seen already, right? Great question where I saw it. Stranger on a Train, haven't seen. Where is someone I want to respond to? Sandra Mateja says, did you ever do the Twilight Zone? Yes. I have, I believe, 23 Twilight Zone videos that I've made. Many different episodes I've covered. All you have to do is, you should be able to go the link in the description of this video, and it's just Twilight Zone playlist, or you could type in Rick 9G Twilight Zone. It'll pop up for sure. And usually the playlist is good because you can watch one and then it'll keep playing it until you stop it, and then you can come back to it and it'll remember your spot. So that's kind of cool. I haven't seen My Three Sons. Do you guys like it? I know Fred McMurray's in it, and it's kind of a very family-oriented show, which is great and so awesome. But I feel like I won't like it as much because any project that I've seen without the four of them together, I don't think is as strong as I Love Lucy. And so I've never seen it topped or anything even get close to I Love Lucy except the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour, which is technically I Love Lucy, the hour-long episodes. Yeah, Vertigo I haven't seen, but that's definitely on my list. Oh, I've also seen Dial M for Murder. That's pretty good. A little long, very slow paced overall, but it's a good movie. And you know, like I almost feel like North by Northwest is kind of fast paced, even though it's slow paced at times. It moves from location to location, so it feels fast paced. Versus Dial M for Murder that I felt was more, you know, linear, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. So, yeah. Jennifer White Wolf, big Hitch fan. That backdrop was great. Rear Window and North by Northwest are my favorite, but so many are so good. I agree. I'm glad you like it. I was really happy being able to do that because I wanted to visit that museum, and there's so many cool things in that museum. Unfortunately, I didn't film all of it. There's some areas you can't film. But I was trying to enjoy it, and I might go again. But that was the big classic TV thing that I saw. They also had, if you're a big fan of, oh man, hold on. What's his name? Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane, Orson Welles. They have the sled there, right? The sled. I haven't seen the movie. The sled? Yeah. And the Rosebud, right? Rosebud, the sled. And so apparently, I learned this, there were 3 that they made for the movie. 3 original sleds. And so Orson Welles did the first take, basically burned it, right? Burned the sled in the fireplace, I believe. I believe that's what the instruction said. You guys can all correct me. But he burned the first one, and he didn't like how the take looked. The second one, he went in, and it came out perfectly, flawlessly, exactly how he liked it. He said, print it. That's the one that I want. And they were left with the third sled. Well, the third sled was right there at the museum. So I got to see that. Actually, Rosebud, right? I can actually... Oh, wait. It's on. I didn't take a picture of it. I took video of it. I didn't take a picture of it. But yeah, it was there. They also had the nunchucks. Bruce Lee nunchucks. You can see them right here. Right there. Those were his nunchucks. And then, what else? Oh, and then the Godfather setup. So all this stuff that I'm showing you, I have on my Instagram. So if you follow Rick_9G, I know not everyone's a fan of Instagram and so forth, but these are some of the benefits that if you go on Instagram, it's for free and you get to see these things. I posted the Godfather desk. I posted the Bruce Lee outfit. Like, literally, Bruce Lee's outfit is there. And I saw it. I was, like, a foot away from it. Like, that stuff makes me go crazy. Like, I love stuff like that, like movie stuff. And I think a lot of you are big fans of stuff like that. Oh, I probably have like an old style iPhone. Like this is very old. I just use what works and nothing cool like that. Yeah, the pictures are great. I appreciate that, Jared. But like I said, they're usually I post them on my Instagram as my stories, or I just leave them there for people to watch. Because sometimes I don't post stuff just having to do with classic TV shows and movies. I mean, it's my life. So I'll post stuff on Formula One. I'll post stuff like funny memes, you know, like jokes and things like that relate to me and my personality. Like that's how I am, and I can be jokey. I can be very jokey, and sometimes that doesn't come through on this stuff. That's why I like to do these live streams. They're a good way for you to get to know me. You know, I guess I'll talk about that. My presentation style comes off as maybe a little serious, a little academic. My background is in education, and I was a teacher. And so I think that comes across a little bit in my videos, which is great. I think it makes it unique. I also don't use a script for my videos. I've told that to a couple of YouTubers who do something similar to what I do, and they can't believe it. They say that they have to make a script. They're like, Rick, you're lying. I'm like, no, I don't use a script. And that's on purpose. I like to make it sound very like you're having a conversation with me, although you're not responding to me. It's me just like talking to you, like right now, just sharing something with you. And I think a lot of people love that it makes it feel very personal, and it makes it feel very intimate in the sense of like our proximity. So people like that. I don't like to make it feel like I'm reading off of a page, right? And so I'm also very funny, but I feel that if I would, I don't know, some YouTubers do it great, and maybe they have that gift where they can add humor and make their topic and keep it serious. But I don't know, for me, it's just not my style. I like to keep my humor separate. It's like my work I do seriously, and then my humor is separate. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me and why I do things and so forth. Hey Jerry, nice to see you. Oh, great question. So you joined a little late, no problem. You can always rewatch it, or watch what you missed later on when this uploads. What museum are those photos from? So it's from a new museum. I don't know, Jerry, if you happen to see my Hitchcock video, I talk about the place. It's called the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures. It's in Los Angeles, California. It's very new. There was it was a giant May Company building right in the corner of Wilshire and Fairfax. And even if you watch my video, you'll see Judy Garland walking along the sidewalk when it was the May Company, the old, very popular, right, shopping mall where you can buy all these things. Well, they've gutted it basically. They've kept the building from the outside pretty much exactly the same. And it's a museum there, and they have rotating exhibits, so they have different things there, and they have things like the original R2-D2 C-3PO from Star Wars. They have the original Edward Scissorhands. They have the original Terminator. I'll show this to all of you. See, it's unfortunate that that this is the only way I can show it to you, but look at this. So this is not real, but this is fake, basically, okay? So this is, oh, sorry, there we go. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it's fake. And there's even wires coming out of the back. And this is an animatronic that was used for Terminator 2, I believe, and or 1. I think it was 1. And either way, it was 1 to 2. It may have been 1. And basically, he's moving like this, and there's wires that basically, it's very realistic. I mean, it's what, 30 years now? Maybe more, because it's what, 84? Yeah, it's more than that, closing in on 40 years. And so it looks like him, and it was made for his eyes to twitch and to look like a real person. It's aged a little bit. I'm sure we can make a better animatronic, but the whole point is it was there. Edward Scissorhands, the whole Johnny Depp outfit was there. It was really, really incredible. No, I have never. Jason Lore asks me, have I ever interviewed Lucy Arnaz or Desi Arnaz Jr. or Keith Thibodeau? No to all of them. I would love to. If anyone knows how they can come or basically get us in contact to do that, I'd love it. Well, Stun, you come across as genuine, and you got to be the nicest guy on YouTube. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot. I think people like that. That when you're confident enough in yourself so that you can just be yourself, I think that's wonderful, and people can tell. And so I'm really happy that I'm able to do that, and that I'm able to share my stories and different things like that with all of you. Oh, classic media buff. Let me tell you, Hollywood has some pretty good museums. So this is one of them, right? The Academy. It's pretty good. There's some sections where I was like, but they actually have Academy Awards from like all the way from 1927 all the way to 2012. Real, actual awards that were given to people. A couple that were famous, but most unknown, and obviously donated so that they could see them there. They also had dresses and suits. Like they had Francis Ford Coppola's green tux when he went for Godfather, stuff like that, which is great. They also had all the Godfather outfits, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro from 1 and 2. That was cool. Again, I want to find a way to be able to like film all that and put it in videos and so forth. But anyway, no, and then there's the Max Factor Hollywood Museum, which is fantastic. If you haven't been there, I'm going to pay it another visit and film different things that I think you will absolutely love and enjoy. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I don't even want to spoil it, but yeah. And there's a couple more. There's the Guinness World Record Museum. That is all right. And there's a couple others. But the thing is, this Hollywood memorabilia can't stay in one place for so long. People buy it, they sell it. And so sometimes they can't keep these museums afloat because all these commodities change hands so much, right? But that's a great question. What's the most famous person I've ever met? I mean, I've seen quite a bit of famous people, but met or I've shaken their hands. I've met a Formula One driver. Celebrities in themselves, like movie actors and stuff, not many. I bumped into Andy Dick at Barnes and Nobles, if anyone knows who that is. I've seen Chaz Palminteri. He was in Down to Earth. He was at the mall while I was at the mall. Stuff like that. I've seen people relatively close up, which is kind of cool. Nick Lachey from I was right next to him at Disneyland. There was a couple other people. Jay Leno, Jerry Seinfeld. I was a few feet away. They were eating at a table like right next to me at a car show. So yeah, I've seen people like that, but I don't like to go up to them. Actually, I really don't. Like that is purposeful. I don't. Maybe I'll take a picture. I'll just literally enjoy looking at them. Give them their piece and stuff. Some people go up to them. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But yeah. Oh, which F1 driver? Jenson Button. He was the 2009 Formula One champion for the Braun team. Yeah, he was a super nice guy. Oh yes, I was a 9 on 210. I was an extra on the original Beverly Hills 90210. You are right, Sally. That is so funny. Wow, you met Scotty. Did he beam you up? Yeah, right, Jared. Jay Leno at a car show. I put that a lot on my Instagram. See, I don't want to just like show you all my stuff on my Instagram, but yeah, that's available in my cars section. I have a cars section, and my mom actually took a photo with Jay Leno. She went up to him and was like, "Jay, can I take a picture with you?" And he's like, "Sure, sure, sure," and bobbed his head back and forth like he always does. And my dad was there, and he was taking the picture, and he's like, "Is this your daughter?" And my dad was like, "What is he talking about?" And so he felt old at that moment. It was a funny moment and wonderful. Whoa, your dad made Colin Chapman, Jim Clark. Wow, that's awesome. Legends right there. That is awesome. Andrew Griffith. See, a lot of you met a lot of cool people. I usually maybe see them from afar and I just kind of enjoy it. I don't go up to them. Rick, weren't you a little kid when 902 was? Yeah, I was. Hold on, I can tell you. I was either in kindergarten or the first grade. I was about 5. Yeah, I played a little boy in one of the episodes. You guys will know. It's a Christmas episode where there were 2 angels talking. There were 2 stars, right? And there were like angels talking, and then there was a wayward garbage truck that was gonna crash. He was like drunk, and then the kids, like. What do you call it? Jason Priestley and everyone came to a school to give toys to poor kids. Well, I played part of the poor kids at the school. I was there. I had a little extra. Do any of you know the episode I'm talking about? And actually, that's true. I did get to meet all of them because they selected my class, 30 kids, to be some of the kids that were running around and playing amongst the actors. We were just like background kids, and then at one point I was called to go to the gate and to like shout and stuff. And I still remember I'm visible in the episode twice, and yeah, we got to shake hands with them, and they were nice, but they did lie to us, and I'll call them out on this. The show, they told us that they were gonna give us presents, and they brought all these wrapped presents, giant, small, big, and they gave them to us to hold, and they were empty. They were literally wrapped cardboard boxes, and they said they would. So we were expecting toys. Like all of us were talking, all of our friends, we were like, "We're gonna get toys. We're gonna get toys." And they're like, "Kids, we need the boxes back," because they're empty boxes, and we were confused. They're like, "But you're gonna get free pizza," and they gave us pizza. That's how they paid us, with pizza. But I did get to shake hands with Jason Priestley, Shannon Doherty, all of them, all the cast, right? Dylan, Kelly, all of them, Ian Ziering, all of them. Yep. Yeah, but again, I was 5, but I do remember that we met them, and it was a thing because for some reason they chose our class, and maybe they thought Rick 90 was in there, and they didn't know. Yeah, so that was my little 5 minutes of fame. Art Linklater, that is awesome. Jay Cage, yo, thanks for the content, Rick. I've subscribed the beginning of the year and have been hooked since. We gotta appreciate the classics. I'm with you, Jay Cage. I appreciate you subscribing, being a supporter for so long. And I'm glad. I have, 1,500 videos in my channel. And there's a lot of stuff on there. There's stuff that sometimes gets buried. There's golden moments that, get really highlighted in videos that do very well. But then there are others that maybe get, a little buried there. They're really good videos. So if you guys go on the hunt, browse, check out the videos, and hopefully you find nice gems, things that you like, things that you will enjoy. Yeah, Luke Perry. There we go. Luke Perry. So sad that he passed away. Oh, John McJunkin. Hey, Rick, who would you say was the rudest celebrity of them all? Do you mean 90210? Yeah, I have to say good things about everyone. First of all, I was 5, so my memory isn't great, but I do remember, like, if I do go to my memory, I remember Luke Perry coming in with, like, an old Camaro or something, and he came in, like, by himself, and he came in, like, in the parking lot of the school, and the kids, they let him go on, like, a barrier, and then so we couldn't pass, so we were safe, so we weren't hurt. And then they were he came out and he waved at us and stuff, and then later we got to meet him. I just remember we kind of shook hands with them, and they were just like, hey, like, so they weren't rude to us. Actually, they were really nice, and the girls were very sweet. Shannon Doherty and Kelly, I forgot her name. I had a crush on both, but yeah. So they were both really nice. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the royalty check. Apparently the pizza was payment, and I'm still waiting on the free pepperoni for life. That would be cool. I don't know. Yeah, Luke Perry was awesome. Oh, thank you, Christian Dahl. You love the Hogan's Heroes videos. Well, thank you. I have a big playlist, Hogan's Heroes videos. I will be making more of those, so don't worry about that. I'm so excited to dive deeper into some of these shows. I will do more Batman. I will do shows that I've never covered before, and I have them in mind. I can't say what they are yet, but I'm going to continue with the classics with I Love Lucy and Gilligan's Island, Three Stooges, things like that. Feel free to continue asking questions. We've been on here, 42 minutes? Usually our time is about 45 to 60 minutes that I do these live streams. I've been doing them pretty consistently about once a month now. So, yeah, it's great. Sandra says, I love how you end your videos. It's so important. Be hopeful. Oh, yes, Jenny Garth. Yeah, no, Jenny Garth was sweet. She loved kids. There's a scene that she played with kids that were actual actors that they brought in. They weren't like us from the school. And she was nice to the kids. Like, that's what I mean. The girls were very nice. So Jenny Garth and Shannon Doherty, they were very, very sweet. They actually played with the kids, like, because they let us out during school time. So we were supposed to be studying. They let us out. I guess I'm giving you behind the scenes information on how they made the TV show. There were huge lights. I remember that. And they just told us to play. There was no direction other than play. And then they had us stop playing, and then they would move around the actors and so forth. And then they would so we were just playing. They gave us like handballs. They brought a lot of playing equipment. Handballs, jump ropes, yo-yos, literally things so we can be occupied and moving and running in the background, hopscotch, all that stuff, so that it could be seen like there's a school of kids playing in back, which was what it was, while they did their dialogue, right? And we're not supposed to bother the actors and the kids. I mean, when you're 5 and you're small, you kind of listen, and if you're a kid crazy in trouble, they just take you out. So I'm sure they vetted us. So, but yeah, so I didn't get a SAG card, unfortunately. Yeah, so everyone was great. Even Ian Ziering, who played Steve, he came in on a motorcycle on the front side. So he came in a motorcycle. So they came separately. And I think the other guys all like Jason, Brendan, right? Brendan and Kelly and so forth. They came in like in a van, I believe. And so Yeah, they were all great. And Ian Ziering, he was like talking to the kids, and he would like shake our hands and stuff, and he would toss the ball. Yeah, like they were great. I mean, remember they were young. They were what, in their 20s, I think. So we were like 5. So I mean, they could drop their guard, and I mean they were around kids, right? And some of the kids, we knew who they were, so we would like hug them, and they would be very nice. So yeah, I can only speak good things. Oh yeah, so going with the be hopeful. That's a great question. Because people always ask me, and I was in a very difficult time, very difficult relationship back when I started the channel, and YouTube was a way to connect and talk with people and share with people something that I loved. And I remember that I didn't have hope. I didn't feel like I had hope at that time, but this came to mind that I need to have hope, and I almost wanted to put that in the video. Because I had another YouTuber that I admired, Roman Atwood. He was a really big, right, YouTuber. And he would say smile more. And I think smile more is a great message. Smile more, be happy, and share the smile with someone else. But I wanted something else, different, that was deep. I wanted 2 words. And I was like, hope is something that comes from the inside. And it could be like a feeling. And everything comes from hope, right? I mean, they're the virtues, right? Faith, hope, and love. And hope is kind of, right? If you don't have hope, where does your faith go? If you don't have hope, you can't really love, right? And so I felt hope was like the basis, the foundation, almost like you need that before you have anything else, right? And so, because, right, if you lose your hope, then your faith goes down with it. So I kind of wanted to spread that message, and it was more like for me, but people really resonate with it, and so I kept it. And it's at the end of every video. Go back 6 years, and it's at the end of the video. So, absolutely. Old shows and TV movies, Dick Van Dyke, I can't say that I've given it a chance, to be honest. I see that people love it, and it's funny, and I think he's talented, Dick Van Dyke. He's still alive. A great legend, living legend. I just haven't been able to get into it. I may one day. But remember, and I always say this, the shows and movies that I cover are shows that I really love, really enjoy. And it's very rare that, like, if ever, like, I can't give you an example of a movie that I've covered unless I was doing a movie review. Like, I'd watch, let's say, Collateral Damage, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'll watch it. If I really don't like it, and I'm doing a review, well, I'll tell you. But I'm not going to do multiple videos on a movie or a show that I don't like. I just won't. I'll skip it. Maybe that's why I've done a couple on a show and then I don't go back to it. Maybe not necessarily because I don't like it, but it's because I have to learn the show. I have to research the show. I almost say like I teach myself to get a degree in the show, if that even makes sense. So yeah, it's really important to me not just to make a video on the show, to, get clicks or likes or paid or anything. The idea is to kind of show the passion I have for a show and pass it on to you. So, yeah. Well, thank you, Rex. I appreciate that. The Shape. Ooh, scary. The Shape. Halloween. Love what you do. Well, thank you, Jared. Yeah, Jared, they were all nice. No complaints. I would be honest about that for sure. I will tell you that videos on the show Seinfeld. I've done videos on the show Seinfeld. If you check out my Seinfeld playlist, I don't have tons, but it's one of my favorite shows. I just haven't gotten into it much. Why? Very purposeful. Because it seems like my audience, that's a little too new for them. Doesn't mean I'll never cover it, but I'll sporadically cover it. So I haven't done a lot on that. So I'm actually not a huge fan of Beverly Hillbillies. I used to watch it as a kid. But whenever it would come on, it'd be like, oh, it's not Gilligan. Oh, it's not Lucy. And it was just like a default show I would watch. And then I lost interest as I got older and I couldn't get back into it. So maybe I will one day, but as of now, not one of my favorite shows. What was I was going to say something with, let me see here. But yeah, the newest I would go to are 90s. Because the way I see it, we have the classics, which is like Gilligan's Island, I Love Lucy, going back to Laurel and Hardy, classic movies, Three Stooges, classic movies, short movies, but movies nevertheless. And then I feel there are modern classics. I've created that term. And you would say, well, what's a modern classic? Well, modern classic to me, I Love Lucy is a classic, but a modern classic would be like the A-Team, because that would be more modern. That it's still a classic because now it's almost 40 years old, right? So it is definitely a classic, but it's more modern. And I think that would go to the 90s. That's my thing, for my expertise, from what I've learned, that anything 70s onwards, so 70s to 90s, I would consider those modern classics, because now we have the introduction of color, we have the introduction of newer technology. It's almost a new generation that are watching these shows. So I would say if you were a kid watching I Love Lucy as it was playing, by the time it was 70s and 80s, you weren't watching much of that because you were in your 20s or 30s, let's say, right? So you were doing other things. But if you're watching I Love Lucy as a 30-year-old growing up, right? Then yeah, your contemporaries would be what? Would be the A-Team and so forth. So there's two audiences there. And so I'm very aware of that. And so that's why I'll kind of split some of my videos between them, because I'll see a lot of people love 50s stuff, don't love 90s stuff. And some people who love 90s stuff, like me, can like the 50s stuff, but they're more aware of the 90s or 80s. That's my generation. So it's very interesting. It's almost like a sociological study on who watches what, and that's in the back of my mind when I make these videos. Anyway, but yeah. Anything more on the Munsters? Dave Scrimshaw. I have a whole playlist on the Munsters. I don't know if you've seen all of them, but I have a good 30 or something videos on it. I think I'm giving it a rest. I mean, a lot of shows I give it a rest. I go through phases where I watch certain shows and give others a rest. Munsters, I think I got a little burned out from the Munsters movie. I know it's different, and I know it's Rob Zombie, but I covered that movie for a year. A year, right? That's 1/6 of the time I've been here on YouTube. And so I'm giving the whole Munsters thing a little rest, although I do love the show, and I do want to get back to actual watching the show with Fred Gwynn and so forth. I was looking at maybe doing a little bit of an Addams Family revival again. But yeah, I will definitely go back to a lot of that stuff. Yum. Max Baer, he'll be 101. He's still alive? No way. I did not know that. I knew that she has passed away. I forgot her name, but yeah. Yeah, Ellie Mae. There we go. Donna Douglas, right? She passed away. Yep. Yes. Top favorite so Jared Watkins Jr. Greg Watkins Jr. asks, hello, Rick. Will you be doing the top favorite I Love Lucy episodes? I will complete, because I've been doing them, I don't know if you've noticed, for each season. I did 1 through 4. So I need to do 5 and 6. My favorites of 5, my favorites of 6. And then I want to do one where from the 10 favorites of each season, that's going to be 60. So I might do the top 5 from each. That'll be 30, right? So let's see, 5 seasons, 6. Yeah, so the top 5 from each. From those, I would get my 10 favorites, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I want to make it consistent with that. And I want to do more of my worst. I think you guys like that. The episodes or the videos that I hate, the episodes that I hated the most. And I think that's really interesting. Let me talk a little bit about that before I sign off, because we're almost getting to an hour. But I want to hear your thoughts, everyone, on saying this, because you could say that this is my least liked. That doesn't mean it's not a good episode or it's not well produced. It just means inside it's your favorite or something that you enjoy watching. It's like something you want to repeat and watch. I'm very aware that there's some very good I Love Lucy episodes that I didn't like that I put on my worst list because I just don't like watching them, right? And so same thing with Gilligan's Island. I was looking to see if I could do like a worst list, and it was hard because I love all of them, and I could only pick like 1 or 2 that I didn't like. But then I'm like, well, which ones do I like to watch the least? And so sometimes you have to do that, and it could be hard, it could be tricky. So just because something is your favorite doesn't mean it's the best made. It's like a guilty pleasure, right? I could say I love chocolate cake, but that doesn't mean chocolate cake is always the best produced. You could have really bad or really good chocolate cake. Does that make sense? So yeah. So when I make those lists, when I say most hated, that just means I do not like to watch it. I'm like, please don't let me, I don't want to watch this. I'll change it if it's Lucy because I don't like that. Like Scotland or Old Girlfriend. Doesn't mean that they didn't put a lot of work in that Scotland episode and that it was creative and it was very unique. I just don't like what they did. Simple as that, but that's me, right? I saw a lot of people love the Scotland episode, so I hope all that makes sense. I love being able to talk about these things that I don't really talk about when I make my videos. Oh yeah, so great question here. Jared McJunkin. Would Frasier, Coach, Home Improvement, Roseanne, Grace Under Fire, Seinfeld, Working, and Something So Right? All Mark? Yes. All yes, absolutely. Again, modern classics, because there are people from the 50s who watch like I Love Lucy who wouldn't like Coach because they're like, that's too new, and I've heard it. And doing this day in, day out. There are people who will not watch Home Improvement, those shows that you just mentioned, Grace Under Fire. They won't watch Roseanne. They won't watch Seinfeld because it's too new, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? And then there are people who love those shows that you just named, Grace Under Fire, Frasier, Coach, Home Improvement, that will not watch I Love Lucy because it's too old. I just happen to be someone who likes a lot of that. I like things from 1920, literally Laurel and Hardy. I like Charlie Chaplin stuff back 1917, all the way to 90s. Like some of my favorite shows are in the 90s. Family Matters, one of my favorite shows. Home Improvement, one of my favorite shows. Seinfeld, one of my favorite shows. Those would be my top 3 90s shows. They're not cartoons. Seinfeld, Home Improvement, and Seinfeld, Home Improvement, and Family Matters. Yeah, those are my top 3, absolutely. Thank you, Mike. I'm doing amazing. I have never seen Murphy Brown. Nope. Or Newhart. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was hard to do because I love Lucy. I've said it. It's no secret. It's my favorite show of all time. But I said, could I come up with a list? Could I come up with a list of my most hated? Like, because I was watching the other day and this episode popped up and I was like, oh no, young fans, I don't want to see it. And I was like, I really don't like that episode. I just feel uncomfortable. I don't like it. I would rather be watching a Hollywood episode, right? And so I started saying, wow, I must have episodes that I really don't like. I looked into it. I was right. So I want to start doing that a little more, even with the Stooges, right? Showing the ones that I dislike and so forth. So great question there. Jay Cage with a $5 super chat. You're awesome, not only being a subscriber, but also supporting the channel with a donation. I appreciate you, Jay Cage. Asks, is it a chance for more Adam 12? There will be more Adam 12. I have a few projects and stuff, like Christmas. I have Christmas videos that I'm going to do. But I think in 2023, I will get more into Emergency and get even more into Adam 12. Absolutely. Starsky and Hutch, I've never watched. So that may be something for the distant future if I even get to that. But I pretty much guarantee Adam 12 because I did watch it. It was a very serious show. But I think there's a lot I can cover on that show. So that's a great question. See, I have some people in the comments already saying, Roseanne is awful. Oh, wow. Hungry Jerk. Alan Hale, I'm guessing Jr., was a drinking buddy of your dad. That is awesome. That's cool. He seems like such a great guy. That's all I've heard, right? Emergency? I love Emergency. Let me see. Wow, you guys. Family Matters is amazing. Are a lot of you loving 90s shows? Let me know this. Let me know if you love 90s shows. The 90s shows that I've mentioned. Home Improvement, Family Matters, and the last one. I'm having brain farts today. It's too late. My brain is frying. What is it? Home Improvement, Gilligan's Island, or Seinfeld. Because I do want to make more of those. And so I would need your help liking, subscribing, watching those videos so I can get more traction in those newer shows. So that can expand and I could do that more. Jennifer Blakey, Married with Children, I was forbidden for watching when I was too young. And the thing is, I think I would appreciate more as an adult now. I just think it's a little raunchy. I'm not really into raunchy shows. I don't find them that interesting. I think comedy doesn't have to be raunchy. When I was growing up, a lot of people would tell me that Richard Pryor is great, is a genius and everything. I don't debate that. But when I first saw him, I saw how filthy he was in what he would say. So is Red Fox. But I don't think filthiness or a filthy mouth necessarily equates to being funny. George Carlin was very filthy. It doesn't mean I disregard him at all, but some actors can do both, or some comedians can do both, right? Bob Saget was very filthy in his stand-up comedy, but very wholesome in Full House, and I liked his Full House stuff, not his raunchy comedy. So I don't go in for raunchy comedy, whether it's George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Red Fox. I love the clean stuff. Now, yeah, Sanford and Son wasn't the cleanest, but it was very clean compared to, right, his other stuff. And so, yeah, just to give you an idea, that's my humor. That's the type of humor that I like. I think, and Red Skelton said it best, if you are a good comedian, you can make someone laugh without even speaking. And I think that's absolutely true. He even said if you could do a 15-minute routine where you don't say a word and you can make people laugh, you're one of the best comedians ever. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but I think he's right. And I think some comedians use all these bad words and filthy and vulgar language and images to get a laugh out of you. Hey, they go with that, and some people like that, but that's not me. So I hope that kind of answers that. That's why I'm not really a fan of Married with Children. I don't think it's a bad show. I just think it's not my type of humor. Yeah. Gail Watson, I like very few 90s shows, but I would watch them if you make them. Well, thank you. Yeah, and like I said, I always like wholesome stuff. That's usually the thing on my channel. Doesn't mean everything in my life that I watch or enjoy is wholesome, right? We can all enjoy something, but I think that's the overall message I want to send on my channel, that anyone could watch it, right? And so, yeah, like that 70s show is a little more raunchy, but it's within the lines, and it's okay. The Simpsons, you know, within the lines, there's some raunchy things, but it's, right, it's more one way than the other, if that makes sense. I've never seen $6 Million Man or Bionic Woman, but I'm very intrigued to watch them. Yeah, so a lot of you are saying that you kind of like 90s stuff. Yeah, a lot of the 90s stuff I think was the end of an era. The 90s was the end. That's why I draw the line there. I think 2000 was a mental... Now, yeah, it was a mental break where things changed a lot going into the 2000s. And so, yeah, now, yeah, there were very dirty things in the 80s and 90s, right? Very dirty movies and TV shows. But I think there was still a break where that line that I Love Lucy made and the wholesome stuff continued. Now, some people argue and don't even like Three's Company because they say it's a bit raunchy and vulgar and right, there's a lot of innuendos. And I would say there, but they were still holding back, right, which I think was good. And the holding back is what I like, because when you go too far, then I think the comedy changes. And it's when you go too far, your comedy is now coming from certain words, because words could be funny, they could be dirty, like egg. I've heard someone say that egg is like one of the funniest words because it's so weird. It's EGG. E is a weird letter in GG, right? Anyway, these are the kind of things that I like. The study of humor, the study of what makes something funny, the study of how people react to comedy. I love it. So anyway, I hope this let you in. Yeah, clean comedy is harder, Stuart. I agree with you absolutely. Yeah, there we go. George Carlin did Thomas the Tank Engine. That was my in to him. That's how I got to know. I used to watch that Shining Time Station. George Carlin, he was super clean and wholesome, and he was funny on the show. So was Ringo Starr. That's how I knew him. I didn't know him from the Beatles. I knew him from Shining Time Station. So absolutely. Forbidden Planet, I made a video on it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Three's Company is a classic, and they walk the fine line where they're not too raunchy. They just have suggestive stuff, but that's it, meaning suggestive ideas and so forth. Well, thank you, everyone. We went over the hour mark. I had such a good time, and I hope you like this. I did something a little different today. I went a little bit more into like the psychology and my thoughts on comedy in general. I hope that was interesting to you. I can do more about that. And at the end, it's all about talking about the classics, how TV and movies work, how behind the scenes work. You guys knew a little bit about 90210 and the truth about how they treated us as children, and you know how they told us we'd get gifts and they gave us pizza instead, but we got to meet the stars, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, I do appreciate you. This was fun for me. I was able to reminisce on these shows and able to reminisce on this, and I like to do this and continue to do this. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you for being at the live stream. I know some of you are here very late. Go get some sleep. Good night, everyone. I will chat with you soon. Stay tuned for more videos. Always stay positive, and most importantly, everyone, never forget, be hopeful.